Yo, what's up everybody? vs.The here, bringing you Black Clover anime review. This is episode 92, titled The Wizard King versus the Leader of the Eye of the Third Midnight Sun. This was a very, very interesting and unique episode. As the title states, we get the leader of the Third Midnight Sun, Lynch, versus the king of the whole empire, the Wizard King, Julius. Basically what happens is that Julius gets caught out by William to wait for him in the rooftop because he wants to talk to him about something important. So of course he sees William as a close friend / subordinate as Yami, so he waits out there, and when William comes, William confesses that he always admired the Wizard King as a close friend / teacher because he's the first person to ever accept him for what he looks like. Because remember, William's face is all scarred up and stuff, and burn marks, and he was born like that supposedly. That's why he was always called the cursed kid. And as he's thanking him and going through like the journeys that they've been together, he ends up stating that there's another person that I'm very close to as well, and I actually known him longer than you. And he ends up saying something along the lines of, this person and you I cannot choose. Therefore, I'm going to let y'all choose between each other who's the person I should trust the most. And as he's saying this and his mask is off in his hands, he ends up throwing the mask to the side, and his face, the black markings on his face starts to change. And it starts to deform his whole body, and we get to see what he becomes. And he becomes Lich, the leader of the Midnight Sun. And this shocks the Wizard King, and he was like, I always had a feeling that it was you, but I always wanted to ignore it, even though all the signs were there. And we get, the backflashes of when the Wizard King first fought Lynch and how he damaged his arm, and then the next day William had his arm damaged and hidden. So like the Wizard King knew in his heart that was him, but because of how close he wasn't trying to like spark any, light any fire under him, you know what I'm saying? And we've seen this with Captain Yami as well. Yami always had a feeling in his heart that William was the traitor. He was hoping that he was wrong, but he always had that feeling. And everyone he made William take off his mask and he saw his face, and he read his Kai, and he wasn't lying to him, he still had a feeling in his soul that something was wrong with this guy. And sadly, we discover that William has a second soul in his body, and that soul is Lynch. So Lich and the Wizard King, they discuss what's going on, and basically the same thing we already know. Lich is an elf, and he's really upset because the humans betrayed the elves and killed them all. And we get to see a backflash of the original Lich, and he's with this human talking to her, but the human looks just like Mimosa. So I'm assuming that Mimosa, somewhere down her family ancestors, one of them probably left to get with this elf, because we know this chick was pregnant with a half-elf child, and this was Lynch, and she was with him, and they both on the hilltop talking, hoping that humans and elf can hopefully get along because of this. And they didn't say why, but she looked down, and of course we saw her belly. So, but we have to assume that both of these two people died because we saw every one of the elves get attacked and died. Which brings up, how did this guy, who's calling himself Lynch, how is he alive? I mean, we know how he's alive because his soul is inside another human, but how did it occur? He did state that William was cursed, and the curse was his soul was invented into William's body. But who did this? This is the question. Because if Lynch died with his wife and he couldn't do it, and no other elf couldn't do it because they all died, and this guy, who's calling himself Lynch, but his real name is Petrie, how is it that he was able to be inside William's body? Just throwing that out there. But as this goes on, we have this awesome fight between them. They're just going back and forth, shooting, blasting at each other, and he lands a good hit on the Wizard King. And the Wizard King states, light magic is actually the weakness to time magic because of its speed and power. But thanks to my magic side effects, I don't have to worry about much. And he was like, what do you mean? And we see that Julius' wounds and his clothes got repaired. And when we find out the true meaning of Julius' time stasis, chronostasis magic, basically what it does is that it steals time force of all living things around him. Of course, he's older and stronger now, so he has control of it, but that's basically how it works. He steals magic from all living things around him, and he stockpiles it until like himself. And then he can use that stockpile of time that he stole from people to do different things. Slow time, speed up time, all this other stuff. And it was also stated that Julius also is a master of Magnezone, just like Merigonia. So that's very interesting that he confused these two things. He confused his Stasis Chronos with that and make it even stronger. And thanks to this, he's not just stronger and faster, he can also predict and meditate what you're going to do and end up countering you before you even do it, which we get to see that as well in this episode. So he's kind of a mix. Like, if you think of Julius, he's a mix of two One Piece characters, two very powerful ones, Katakuri and the I think it's Kizaru, the guy who can become light. So he's kind of like a fusion of these two characters, which is very deadly and very powerful. But after he explained this to Lich was like, what the heck is going on? Like, he explained it, but he was still kind of confused. It was like, you can steal magic, and that was basically the end of the episode. Now, there was something else in this episode that happened prior to this fight that is the most important thing, and I don't see a lot of people talking about it. And I myself had to go back to the chapters of these, episodes and review them. And again, a lot of people who review reaction to this have not been speaking about this, but I don't think I'm the only one out there that probably have discovered this. Who knows? But it was stated earlier in the episode, when we get to see what the Black Bulls are doing, the remaining ones. Gooch says something very important, and he's saying this to himself, interlogging it, but we get to hear it for a reason. And he basically states that Captain Yami was particularly designed and set on, when I leave, y'all guys have to make sure you protect the base. And Gooch was like, why was he so overprotective of us protecting the base? Did he predict this was going to happen? Then later on, we get Yami kind of irritated and being bossy because he's waiting for William to apologize, where he's in the Golden Dawn's base. And he states to himself in flashbacks that William's Kai is not equal to his, but it's similar in its essence to his. And that it's weird how, like, so similar that William is to, Yami. And like how they're complete opposites. And it's funny because if you think about it, even though they're so similar, we know Lynch has light magic and Yami has dark magic. So it's kind of weird how, like, this all ties into each other. And it also proves that Yami was right. Lynch and William, they are the traitors and they're not the traitors, because William is not the traitor, Lynch is, but Lynch is in him. So it's like, do you blame him for both the sins of Lynch and himself, or do you like separate that? Like, and is there any way to save him? So that was very unique. And the fact that, another thing that brings us very unique is the fact that if Yami was able to detect that this situation was going to happen, how? Is his darkness magic, does it allow him to be like Absol from Pokemon? That he can sense anything that's evil or disaster that's about to become upon him? Or does it have to do with his Kai? Because remember, when he helped Asta learn about Kai, he learned to tell him the basics of Kai. How it can help you, not with your attack and defense buffs, but it can also help you with, like, sensory-wise. Which is something that Asta needed back in the day, when he helped them against Lynch in that battle with that. Which, if you know anything about Kai, in the different series like Hunter x Hunter or Dragon Ball Z, or even different Korean mangas that call it Q, a Q of an eye, you can do a lot with these abilities. Besides, enhance yourself and sense your area. There's some people who can see the future, some people who can just read you like a book just by looking at you. So the reason why I'm bringing up these other series and Kai and Q from other, Asian culture is because we haven't really discovered in Black Clover what Kai can completely do. Because again, Yami only taught Asta the basic of Kai, which is to increase your power so you can be able to have a high attack and defense, and your sensory ability could be higher. But those are the only two things that we know. Sensory and the ability to increase your offense and defense abilities. Other than that, we don't know other things that you can do with Kai, and we don't know if Kai has other evolved forms and techniques that's under them. Like how Hunter x Hunter, Nin is Kai, and you have 6 different brackets, and each one has a different ability source. So I wonder if Kai is similar to that, and the reason why Tabaka is not really bringing that into fruition yet is because he wants to save that for later. Because there is a rumor of a time skip, and maybe during that time skip is when Asta will fully learn Kai. So that's just a prediction a lot of people are going around. But it's very interesting to see that Yami did notice something was up after he started thinking about this flashback, and he saw, like, he didn't see the battle, but he felt like something was going on, and the kingdom is shaking, and Aaron Marcus, which is Julius' right-hand man and subordinate, Aaron, he was like, what is this high-level magic pressure? And it was basically the battle of Julius and Lynch, so, aka Petri, which we find out that's going to be his name later. Just spoiler alert to let y'all know. Not a really big one, but yeah. But again, this was a great episode, great stuff. Very unique to see what happens in the future and see what happens between this battle. I'm loving the art and animation and voice acting. Everything's on point. Hopefully we don't switch back and forth because I'm getting kind of tired of that. Hopefully we stay on this battle before we switch back to what the Royal Knights are doing and the Black Bulls. Hopefully we stay here and get the continuation of this fight. But this fight was really, really good. For an opening fight, opening clash, because it's not done yet. But for an opening battle, it was pretty lit, and to pun intended, and hopefully we get more. But that's all I have for you guys. Let me know down below how you feel and how you like or didn't like about the episode, and how do you feel about Yami being able to predict certain things and being very good with his 6 senses. Do you think that's going to play a part with Kai later on for Asta, and maybe that's why they're hiding all the things that Kai can do? Just let me know down below. But that's all I have for you guys. Peace out. Have a good one.